Welcome back to Hot Water Wrestling, everybody, and here to do my second video of the day. I think I might do three, but anyways, this is a Blu-ray update, Blu-ray and DVD. Actually, these are all Blu-rays. A Blu-ray update. So I got Almost Famous, the bootleg cut. This is an extended cut from the theatrical version. It was previously released on DVD a few years back. Then it went out of print. Just one of my favorite movies. Had to have it. Got it for a great price over at Best Buy. It was a $9.99er. In fact, I think it's a Best Buy exclusive. But really cool packaging on here. This movie is based on a true story by the guy who directed it, Cameron Crowe. He got his start as a journalist for Rolling Stone. He wasn't full-time employed or anything. He was a young kid, and they gave him a shot. They said, "Hey, go on the road with these bands, write about them, send it in, and we'll let you know what we think." And they ended up publishing a few of his pieces. And he went on to actually become a filmmaker. He made Say Anything. He made Singles. He made Jerry Maguire. He made Almost Famous, and he made a few other really good movies. So if you haven't seen this movie, and you like rock and roll movies with lots of crazy stuff going on in it, I highly recommend it. If you just like really good involved movies about people, this is one to definitely see. Almost Famous. Next up is Sucker Punch. I have a thing for Zack Snyder. I also have a thing for hot chicks with weapons. But I like Zack Snyder's movies. He did Dawn of the Dead, the remake. Not a big remake fan, but his remake of that is excellent. He did the 300. He did the Watchmen. He did that owl movie, The Legend of the Owls, or whatever it was, which is all right. I took my daughter to see that. And then he made Sucker Punch. And now he's making Superman, the new Superman. Sucker Punch is a very interesting movie. It requires a little more thought than you would think. You would kind of think this was some kind of mindless adventure. A lot of people said the film was a mess, but really it's about a group of girls that are very traumatized. She's the main character, Baby Doll is what she's called, but they're very traumatized, and they're in some kind of ward, and they want to get out of the ward, they want to escape, and they want to expose all the shenanigans that are going on in the ward. Dirty doctors, dirty handshakes and underhanded shit that's going on in there. I don't want to ruin the movie, but basically, in order to deal with it and cope with it, she escapes in her mind and creates this alternate reality where she's fighting with samurai swords and machine guns, and she's fighting against monsters and flying airplanes and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But what she's really doing is she's escaping and she's coping, and it's in her mind. If you've ever seen Pan's Labyrinth, brilliant film, highly recommend Pan's Labyrinth. It squashes Sucker Punch. But Pan's Labyrinth, it's kind of like Pan's Labyrinth in that respect of the word. But it's just super duper over the top action. If you like anime, which I'm not a huge fan of, but if you like anime, I can already tell you you'll like this. If you just like over the top, just sexy looking women cutting the heads off of things, then you like this movie. I'm kind of at a loss for words a little bit. It didn't get very good reviews, and a lot of people have kicked it in the nuts, but being a Zack Snyder fan, I just really like the way he does his action. It's very intense. I like his creativity, how he uses the lens, how he edits his films, how he kind of puts his own world together. Every Zack Snyder film feels like a Zack Snyder film. He has his own signature, and I appreciate that about him, and that's why I actually picked this up. And one great thing it has, which the fans of the Watchmen know how cool this is this feature, where you get an in-depth look at the film. Instead of just listening to a director's commentary, Zack Snyder actually appears on the screen, and he actually points to certain things that happen, shows you storyboards, talks about how things develop, why things are in the movie, and it's almost as fun as watching the movie. This was a sell for me. I may not have bought Sucker Punch had it not had this feature, but when it did, I was like, I gotta get it. This comes with an extended cut as well as a cut, the theatrical cut. Excuse me, I'm like fucking retarded today. Anyways, it comes with the theatrical cut and the extended cut. I'm surprised people haven't shut this video off by now. I'm so stumbling. $9.99, picked up Sherlock Holmes. I was really worried about this movie. Now, I had seen it in the theaters, okay, so I just didn't get around to seeing it now. But talking about it coming out, if you haven't seen it, I would have to say it's worth it. I was worried about this movie when it came out because, Sherlock Holmes to me, the true essence of Sherlock Holmes is, it's a slower paced, more methodical, figuring out clues, very dark, very quiet, very monotone. Sherlock Holmes, very mysterious. This Sherlock Holmes is just boom, flash, pow, whack, crazy swashbuckling, as I like to say. Pirates of the Caribbean style swashbuckling, swinging from buildings and getting in crazy knockout fights with, crazy cinematography and slow motion shots and a lot of stuff you'll find in a Zack Snyder film. But it's in Sherlock Holmes, and so I was kind of turned off by that thing. That ain't Sherlock Holmes. Because that Robin Hood movie with Russell Crowe is a piece of shit. That is not Robin Hood. That is like Gladiator 2 turned into Robin. Don't even get me started with that fucking movie. But this actually turned out to be a pretty cool movie, and I actually turned out to love this version of Sherlock Holmes, this modernization of Sherlock Holmes. I could really be doing a better job today explaining these movies, but you know what? I have a lot on my mind, so I'm kind of like distracted. Excuse me. But anyways, I really liked this take on the Sherlock Holmes mythology. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it, especially if you like Robert Downey Jr.'s wit and humor. Next one I got for $9.99 was Dances with Wolves. Of course, this is a classic. Phenomenal film about a guy in the U.S. military who actually ends up bonding with an Indian tribe and actually kind of seeing through the government's propaganda regarding Indians, shows it in a different light, shows how we can all coexist. A very spiritual, moving film, very entertaining movie. It just says a lot about the human spirit. I always like movies like that, and of course most people have seen Dances with Wolves. It's a classic, but I haven't seen it in, probably a decade. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen this movie. If you're a fan of Avatar, I highly suggest checking out Dances with Wolves because a lot of it is the same premise. Of course, this is kind of based in reality where Avatar is a complete fantasy, and Avatar is awesome, don't get me wrong. In fact, I like Avatar a little better than this just because that's me. But this movie is phenomenal. Next is Wanted. I got this for $7.99. And the digital copy was still good, which was really cool. Crazy futuristic hitman movie with Angelina Jolie in it. Solid, lots of good action. I love what they do with the bullets when they fire the bullets and they follow the bullet in this. It's got a lot of original aspects to it. When they get injured, they go in this clay and they lay in the clay for a day and their wounds heal up. And I've always liked movies that kind of sci-fi, explore different things. So this movie's vastly entertaining. If you like, high impact action, good solid hitman movie, you like spy movies, you'll like Wanted. Next is The Bank Job with Jason Statham. I saw this right when it came out, and I know I really enjoyed it, but for the life of me, I can't really remember it that well. And I got this for $7.99 as well, so I figured I'd just pick it up and watch it again. It's kind of cool that I don't remember it that well because I can just enjoy it again for the first time. But I did see it, I did like it, so that's that. And last but not least, a movie I have not seen. I usually don't blind buy movies all that often, but this was a bit of a freebie. This was given to me. I didn't turn it down. Never seen it. It's Tron Legacy. on 3D. It's got this rectangular box. You can kind of see it, you know the drill. You've probably seen this in the store. I do have a 3D television that works, and so I look forward to actually watching this crazy set. It comes with, I think, 5 discs in here. Or is it 4? 1. Got one behind here. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 discs. You get your 3D Blu-ray, your regular Blu-ray, and then your DVD copy, and your digital copy. Which, of course, once you use that, the disc is useless. We've been through that before. But Tron Legacy is my other pickup. So let me know what you guys thought of this film. I used to watch the original Tron years ago all the time. I popped it in right before this movie actually came out in theaters, and it kind of bored me, to be honest. I was kind of crushed. I was like, man, I used to watch this all the time, and now it just kind of sucks. But it's an old movie, and I didn't hear amazing things about this from just people I know and in general. And I was just so damn busy when it came out in theaters, I just was not able to see Tron Legacy, unfortunately. But I'm going to see it now, and I'm going to see it in 3D. So we'll check it out. Leave your comments. It's good talking to you guys. I'm sorry for being a little kind of all over the place today. I always try to focus when I make my videos, but sometimes I just have so much on my mind that it wanders. Anyways, I'll see you next time on Hot Water Wrestling.